Hello fellow space engineers. As promised, we are here at the Breaker's Yard with the two destroyers that we captured earlier in our survival series, and we are in the process of dismantling them so we can build an escort ship of our own. Here we are with our new craft, the crab, the way I like to call it. I painted a large smiley face in it, but that's besides the point. This is not a super innovative design. You've seen this type of vehicle before in the workshop, but what I like about them is the fact that since the two grinders are so wide apart from each other, you can do precision work, like with that gyroscope. This is the case. We want to dismantle this destroyer only partially, so we're going to keep only the conveyor pieces and the cargo containers plus the reactors. The reason for that is that we have yet to hack into them and remove all kinds of ammunition and uranium from them that we actually need to power our own ships, and I don't want to just have them flying around. So the idea would be to just bring that empty, let's say, skeleton. Well, not empty, it's actually loaded with materials. So we'll basically remove all of the armor and just leave the interior conveyor pieces, and we'll move them with the ship that is behind me, that other yellow ship over there, towards the frigate. Then we'll hack it and we will proceed to attach it to our ship's main conveyor system so we can move all of the components inside, and then we can proceed to grind them. So let's see how this goes. Ideally you would have to go in diagonally, so like only the very edge of the grinder is touching the single block that you want to grind down, instead of grinding down all of the other cargo containers. You can do some minor corrections, but not too sharp, otherwise you would be grinding something that you don't want. And there it goes. Now we can proceed to remove the last piece of the armor that is underneath, and then we'll fly it to the frigate. Let me just quickly give you a flyby of this other destroyer, which is in actually better condition than the other one. One of the initial thoughts that I had was to salvage as many materials as I can from this one and actually rebuild this one, but then I ended up having my own design that I'm going to show you in future episodes. Okay, let's finish this thing and I'll show you how to do the attachment. Okay, so since we were doing some remodeling and upgradings in the frigate, we actually forgot to add some exterior connector ports. Um, so, while this finishes, let me give you a quick tour around the changes that we made. So first of all, there was a reclassification of the entire fleet of vessels that we have been working on. This used to be the Pontus class frigate. We have reclassified it as a destroyer. The reason behind it is, well, basically after some serious thoughts and research about the subject, we've been looking at ship sizes, tonnages, capacities, capabilities, and the size and armament and basically overall capabilities of this vessel fit in more within the destroyer than the actual frigate. It's too large to begin with. It has a lot of weapons. It also has a lot of crew compartments. So, you may also notice some other few changes that we went into the overall design, and it's actually part of the process of the initial conception that I had for this ship is for it to be a modular vessel. So several versions of these can be built with ease. The main difference is that it now has a front hangar, as you can see here, with some fighter craft, some of them waiting to be repaired or scrapped, and some of them are just like parked there. And this forward section here is actually separated uh, from the rest of the ship by a bulkhead. I like to integrate naval concepts, mainly concepts of naval architecture in my designs, uh, especially from submarines and ships. It makes it way easier to repair. Right now, for example, the projections consume a lot of capacity for the game. It slows down, creates lags. So what I decided was to separate those compartments by bulkheads and actually blueprint them by separate and projecting them as I need. For example, if the frigate takes, well, the destroyer takes some damage in the bow, I will only project the bow section so the damage control crews can repair it, or your drones can go out and repair it, your remote control drones, instead of projecting the entire ship on top of itself, which would cause a massive lag. And it has proven to work quite well. The other reason is that you can basically build these large size vessel in survival if you have a facility that can basically build module by module or section by section. So the larger that it would need to be would be this hangar module here, which is actually the size of two modules. Once again, I mentioned earlier in one of my previous videos that I took inspiration from the Meko frigates, which is uh, a term used by the German shipyard and German Navy to refer to the type of frigate that they build, which is built like this. So it's built basically by the requirement of the customer, whichever navy or country is buying them. Maybe they have some different requirements, so maybe the hull ends up being longer, maybe it ends up being shorter, maybe the superstructure it's taller, or maybe it's smaller. So basically you have these segments of a ship that you can put together one after the other. I will make a video featuring all of those segments individually later on, but basically that was the main change that we did. So right now this is a destroyer, and is a destroyer that is acting as a support carrier or a light carrier, pretty much like the ones are being built by the Japanese Navy, for the Japanese Navy, which are capable of carrying a large complement of helicopters, making them basically a destroyer that is a helicopter carrier at the same time. So that was the concept that I was pushing here. And as you can see, we can actually harbor uh, small fighters and larger fighters. Yeah, this is going to take a while.